This is Labor, Penny Wong's Labor, Albo's Labor, James.
And how much of this are they using all of the upset there's been in Israel lately over the Supreme Court and reforms over that? I keep hearing from the left that, democracy is under threat in Israel, which seems like kind of a nonsense. And, if we're going to be talking about Ukraine and things like that, surely we need to be talking about a democracy in the Middle East and supporting that. Yes, Michael?
Well, I think good on the Israelis for having a good old bun fight over judicial reform. Just shows what a democracy they are. There aren't demonstrations, let alone gay pride parades in Oman or in Beirut or in Baghdad or even Cairo, because those people would be brutally suppressed. But look, the Israelis will work out their attitudes to whether the judges of the Supreme Court should appoint themselves or whether the Israeli government should have more of a say in who the judges of the Supreme Court are. That's a great argument for a democracy. But no action from Australia on this issue of the UN's obsession with Israel, so clearly pointed out, as you guys have, and by that group of countries that Australia should have been standing with. Canada, Germany, the United States, the United Kingdom, France. Where are we? Come on, Penny, lift your game.
Well, these countries are our allies and we're not standing with them. We have shown weakness here. What I want to understand, you're a Labor man, why is the Foreign Minister, why is Penny Wong kowtowing to Sue Lyons? Why is she getting her way instead of Penny Wong saying, no, this is the policy we're following and, we're not playing factional games here. We're not in our student days. We're going to do the same thing.
You'll never hear this from Patricia Karvelas or Virginia Trioli or the ABC gang that cover up for the current government. The current government has been relatively responsible on international affairs, particularly with the big issue affecting China. But it's a very different government than previous Labor governments. It's totally dominated by the socialist left. So the internal logic of the socialist left determine all of these issues at the side where the great Australian public are not that engaged. So they get away with all kinds of outrages in so many different areas because they're different than a normal Labor government. And I'm sorry to say it, this is one of the attitudes that they're pursuing. They'll do it the same at the national conference, where there'll be demand for immediate recognition of a Palestinian state, which is Bob and Kim Carr, not brothers, demands that will be voted on in August at the Brisbane National Conference.
Yeah, well, I wanted to ask you about that because Rita will look astonished with what I'm about to say, but I'm about to praise Dan Andrews for actually standing up for Israel and saying that it was the only democracy in the Middle East where they had gay rights and they supported gay rights. And in fact, there is a lot of truth in that. I want to get your viewpoint on the forthcoming National Labour Conference and how far they will go in their anti-Semitic, anti-Israel ideas. But two stories recently out of Israel, Michael. One was a young woman, a gay woman, an Arab woman who had sought refuge in northern Israel. Her brother, an Arab, is now being sought for having killed her. They believe the brother was responsible for killing the 18-year-old girl because of her sexuality. She'd sought to hide in Israel to get away from her Palestinian family. There's another case of a homosexual Arab given refuge in Israel who was kidnapped by unknown Arabs and beheaded. So Israel actually protects and looks after gays, even non-Israeli gays. Good on Dan Andrews for standing up for them. But this, of course, will be completely overlooked by the virulently anti-Israeli National Conference, correct? With Bob Carr and the likes insisting on recognition of Palestine.
It's not only that, this issue leads into bigger issues like AUKUS. Will the socialist left, who will have a majority for the first time since the great 1955 Labor split, use their numbers to vote the government down on immediate recognition of a Palestinian state and opposition to AUKUS? Now, I think they'll be faced with a conflict of disloyalties. They'll dump their policy on AUKUS to support ALBO, because how can they not support their Prime Minister and their Foreign Minister and their gang who are basically running things? But they may have to throw a bit of red meat to the socialist left, and one of those might be immediate recognition of a Palestinian state. As for Dan Andrews, great. It's very good that the Premier of Victoria has an issue which you support, Rowan. I'm sure he'll be happy with that.
He'll be cracking the bubbly, Michael, this evening.
but the point is, Dan Andrews, you own the Victorian Labor Party. You abolished it for 4 years. You reconstructed it so that 400 plus of the 600 delegates at last weekend's conference were from the socialist left. A total reversal of the situation pre-COVID. And don't sit on the sidelines in your hotel room and drink champers while the conference is going on. Go down there and try and discipline your Victorian socialist left acolytes to vote with you on that Israel issue. It's not right for a leader to sort of sit on the sidelines and say, oh, well, they're all off to be executed. It's not my business.
There you go. Michael Danby, always great to chat to you. You've got a plane to catch, so we'll let you go. Thank you so much for speaking to Outsiders.